Hello and welcome to the big story, and you're watching CVR News Network, and this is CVR English. I'm Sandeep, and today we are taking you through a remarkable diplomatic journey, one that spans a quarter century, 9 landmark visits, and a relationship that has weathered global storms. Russian President Vladimir Putin's engagement with India since the year 2000 tell the story of a partnership that has evolved from defense and energy and deals into a broader strategic embrace. And as his 2025 visit unfolds, it is being hailed as unlike any of his previous trips, both in symbolism and substance. And this is the big story of the day. Let us begin at the turn of the millennium. In October 2000, Vladimir Putin arrived in New Delhi for his very first state visit as Russia's president. It was a moment of reset. India and Russia signed the Delhi Declaration, formally launching what they call a strategic partnership. Defense cooperation was formed and center agreements for Su-30 fighter jets and discussions on nuclear energy projects. But the optics mattered too. Putin paid homage at Rajghat, visited the Taj Mahal with his wife Lyudmila, and projected warmth that set the tone for the relationship. This was the foundation stone of the annual summits that continue till this day. Until now, 10 visits in 25 years. Let's watch the file videos.
To exchange the agreements on the integrated long-term program of science and
затрагивалась и проблема реконструкции, реформы, организации.
2 years later, in December 2002, Putin returned to India. Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee welcomed him for what has now becoming a tradition, the annual summit. Vajpayee himself told Parliament that the visit marked the institutionalization of regular consultations. Putin's speeches at that time spoke of a multipolar world of India, Russia and China forming a triangle of stability. It was a vision that would echo in later years through BRICS and other forms. The visit reinforced that Moscow and New Delhi were not just transactional partners but strategic interlocutors.
and exchange the agreements on the dais.
We exchange views on the terrorist activity which threatens the stability of our region. Recent terrorist acts in various parts of India, in Moscow, Bali, Mombasa and elsewhere have shown that terrorism is seeking ever newer targets. The defense mechanisms have to be well coordinated.
При этом считаю крайне важным, чтобы Исламабад принял не только меры для перекрытия путей проникновения кашмирских боевиков через линию контроля в штат Джамму и Кашмир, но и серьезно усилил работу по ликвидации всей террористической инфраструктуры, действующей в этом регионе. Во-вторых, мы должны укреплять международные режимы нераспространения оружия массового уничтожения.
Second point is that we should be strengthening the international non-proliferation mechanisms in the field of mass destruction weapons.
В-третьих, нужно делать все для того, чтобы урегулировать все спорные вопросы, в том числе между Индией и Пакистаном, мирными средствами.
And the third aspect is that everything should be done in order to settle all the disputes, including the dispute between India and Pakistan, by peaceful means.
И в-четвертых, нужно создать систему международных гарантий, в том числе и обеспечения национальных интересов самого Пакистана.
And fourth point is that a system of international safeguards should be provided, especially in the field of mass destruction weapons.
За последние 220 лет
Крайне низкая для наших стран, абсолютно не соответствует возможностям мирового бизнеса.
Respond to the real potential of our relations.
By 2004, the summit mechanism was firmly in place. Putin's visit that year was less about grand declarations and more about continuity. Defense and energy remained the backbone. Agreements signed in those years would later mature into long-term projects, including joint ventures in the nuclear power and hydrocarbons. It was a steady handoff, ensuring that even as governments changed in India, the Russia relationship remained a constant.
मारे को हम आदत नकल मारने की मारे को हम आदत नकल मारने की
In the year 2004, as we have seen, the government has changed. The Prime Minister has changed. BJP government is changed to Congress government. Vajpayee, later on Manmohan Singh. And this continued for the next decade from 2004. In the year 2007, Putin's trip again emphasized the defense depth. India's reliance on Russia's equipment, from fighters to air defense systems, was entrenched. The visit underscored space modernization and co-production. It was a reminder that Russia was not just a supplier but a partner in India's military ecosystem. The optics were quieter, but the substance was solid.
हाँ हाँ ठीक था
Fast forward to 2012, this was the 13th annual summit, and the joint statement carried a title Partnership for Mutual Benefit and a Better World. It marked 65 years of diplomatic ties. The language was celebratory, but also forward looking. Both sides spoke of their special, privileged strategic partnership, a phrase that has since become the official descriptor of India Russia relations. The visit about reaffirmation about telling the world that despite shifting alliances, this bond remained unique.
Dear Mr. Prime Minister, dear ladies and gentlemen, Russia and India are connected by bonds of strategic partnership, but let me know that these bonds are of great trust. I'm pleased to say that our partner is achieving great results because the rate of economic development of India is the highest in the world, and of course it cannot be achieved but for the efforts of Mr. Singh and his government. It allows us to achieve concrete results in bilateral relations. Today we've held very substantial and constructive dialogue on almost all areas of our cooperation. But of even greater importance was the preparatory work carried out by our experts in preparation for today's. Due to this joint work, we managed to achieve the signing of a number of important documents, and you witnessed with your own eyes the final results of this work. These results demonstrate our mutual aspiration to develop political dialogue, investment, trade relations, scientific and technical cooperation, and people-to-people contacts. Throughout these 65 years since the signing of the agreement on establishing diplomatic relations, our links have transformed in the special and privileged strategic partnership. In 2011, the amount of mutual trade accounted for almost $9 billion. This year, it will probably achieve the benchmark of $10 billion, and in the nearest future, we are to increase the mutual trade turnover by double-fold. Of great importance is that structure.
Then came the year 2014, a year of big-ticket announcements. Putin's December visit saw the signing of 20 agreements across the nuclear energy, oil and gas, health, mining, media, and wind power. Most striking was the plan to build at least 12 nuclear reactors in India. Defense cooperation took a Make in India turn, with agreements to locally manufacture advanced Russian helicopters and spares. The two leaders unveiled the Dosti vision, a roadmap for the next decade. For Prime Minister Narendra Modi, in his first year in office, this was a chance to anchor his personal rapport with Putin. The warmth was palpable and the deals were concrete. And this year, NAMO'STE Putin has become a viral hashtag till now.
Welcome, Mr. President. Good evening. It is a great pleasure to present you once again to the government.
Putin had a vision of India, Russia, and China triangular summit, and this was extended to Latin American country Brazil. And Prime Minister Manmohan Singh, the Prime Minister from 2004 to 2014, can be called as the pioneer in organizing a group called BRICS. And this has become fulfilled completely and later coined, and now it is getting extended. But India has first time organized this particular summit under NAMO'STE PUTIN hashtag in the year 2016. In 2016, Putin came to Goa for the BRICS summit. It was a multilateral stage, but the bilateral mattered too. On the sidelines, India and Russia signed defense and energy agreements, keeping momentum alive despite Russia's growing tensions with the West over Ukraine and Syria. Modi used the occasion to convey the BIMSTEC alongside the BRICS, signaling India's regional outreach. Putin's presence reinforced Russia-Eurasian vision, and the India-Russia axis remained steady.
Here in Goa today, as they say in Russian, Stariya Drugluche Novik Duvak means an old friend is better than two new friends. Excellency, I am aware of your deep affection for India. Your personal attention has been a source of strength in our relationship. And in the complex and changing global context, your leadership has provided stability and substance.
By 2018, the focus was on business. Putin's visit featured a wide range of agreements, from defense to energy to science. It was less dramatic than 2014, but important in maintaining continuity. The annual summit rhythm was intact, and the leaders emphasized the diversification of ties beyond defense. And this particular visit continued later in December 2021. Putin made a compressed but consequential trip. Just 5 hours in New Delhi, but packed with substance. Defense, energy, and long-term partnership were the themes. Weeks later, Russia's invasion of Ukraine would change the global context entirely. That 2021 visit now looks like a last normal summit before the storm. And then the most spectacular visit of 2025 came when Prime Minister Modi himself went to airport to receive Putin. And this has become the most awaited visit since 2000. And that brings us to 2025. Why is this visit so special? First, it is Putin's first trip to India since the Ukraine war began. The world is watching how India balances its strategic autonomy, buying Russian oil, maintaining defense ties, while calling for peace. Second, the agenda is broader than ever. Both sides are talking about diversifying trade, aiming for $100 billion by 2030. Expanding into shipbuilding, pharmaceuticals, and IT. Third, the optics are extraordinary. Prime Minister Modi personally received Putin at Palam Airport, hugged him warmly, and even shared a car ride to the Prime Minister's residence for a private dinner. The red carpet, the ceremonial welcome, the cultural performances all signaled a warmth rarely extended visiting leaders. Analysts say that this was deliberate. a message to the world that India-Russia ties are resilient, personal, and even strategic. Amongst all this celebration, adding to the symbolism is a viral photograph from the archives. It shows Atal Bihari Vajpayee during his Moscow visit in 2001 with a young Narendra Modi, then Chief Minister of Gujarat. Present reports recall that this was Modi's first overseas trip as Chief Minister, and that he interacted with Putin during that visit. The resurfacing of that image now in 2025 stitches a narrative of continuity. From Vajpayee's era to Modi's premiership, from Astrakhan ties to annual summits, the India-Russia story has personal threads that span decades. The answer lies in both personal chemistry and strategic messaging. Modi and Putin have built rapport since 2014, and the gestures, airport welcoming, hug, carpool diplomacy, private dinner, and even the common public. We are seeing the visuals, how the common public are also enthusiastic on this particular visit. These all are deliberate signals of trust. Strategically, India is telling the world that it will pursue independent foreign policy, balancing ties with the West and Russia practically. India needs Russian energy, defense, spares, and investment, and this cannot be compromised with any Western interest. The warmth was theatre, but theatre with purpose. As this visit concludes, the stakes are clear. Defense modernization projects like Super Sukhoi upgrade, localization of spares, and joint manufacturing are on the table. Energy cooperation is expanding with discussions on nuclear, oil, and renewables. Trade diversification is being pushed hard with maritime industrial cooperation and pharma corridors and focus. And geopolitically, India is reiterating its peace stance with Ukraine while safeguarding its own supply chains. And not last but not the least, Trump tariffs played a major role in all this particular celebration of Putin's visit, which is unlike to his previous visits, even under the hashtag NAMO'STE Putin.
In accordance with the commercial agreement signed during the visit, there will be a large Russian-Indian pharmaceutical factory built in the Telugu region in Russia. We will be starting the production of high-quality anti-tumor medicinal drugs using the advanced Indian technology. In return, Russian enterprises will be establishing the production of industrial products in the framework of the Make in India program, which is a hallmark project of distinguished Prime Minister Modi. The prospects of the reinforcement of the interaction.
In this episode, we have seen the historical archives from various international media, and thanks to credit of all those particular international media who kept all these treasures in their archives. From the year 2000, Delhi Declaration to the red carpet embrace of 2025. Putin's India visit tell a story of resilience and recalibration. Tonight, as the images of Modi and Putin together flood the screens, and as that old Vajpayee Moscow photo resurfaces, the narrative is clear. This is not just about the deals and declaration. It is about the continuity, chemistry, and the choreography of a partnership that has stood the test of the time. The 2025 visit is uniquely special. It is the Putin's first trip since the war, and Prime Minister Modi personally receiving him at the airport, hugging him warmly, and hosting a private dinner. The red carpet welcome and cultural reception are unmatched when compared to his previous visits. Beyond optics, both the leaders discussed diversifying trade of $100 billion. And most important, ever since the climate has become hot between India and US, India-Russia ties have grown stronger, starting with the SCO summit and Modi's personal calls and even personal visit to Russia and Ukraine together has given Trump tariff a solid response. Trump tariffs and Modi's visible camaraderie with Trump earlier strengthened India's balancing act, reassuring Moscow of India's autonomy. This legacy, combined with today's context, made the 2025 summit warmer and more consequential than any other visit before. And this is the big story of the day. We'll return with yet another episode. Till then, keep watching CVR News English.